Today we're going to take the chance to talk about dreams, what we think they might mean, the value they play in our lives, and just all kinds of topics around anything that can be. But first, I'd like to talk a little bit about the name of the show, A Space Beyond Words. And originally, I wanted it to be a space, or just a beyond words. And the main reason that means so much that I wanted it to be that was because it dances around the idea that words are just a poor way to try to convey feeling to each other. And so often does the message get lost in translation. And so what we really are looking for is something that beyond words. And so I think that fits into the dreams as well, because those definitely are things that go beyond words. Because the topics that they can cover just go so far. It's so abstract, so linear. It can go anywhere on the spectrum for sure. So in the chat, when I posted the poll, the first thing I immediately noticed is that everyone who took the thing felt like pretty much that their dreams are trying to tell them something, or trying to talk to them, communicate something to them. And as we were saying earlier, definitely I think that you can take most dreams you could take something from. And often it's like symbolism and stuff, but usually there's something you understand deeply about the dream you're having that only you can. Of course, it's your dream, only you can get it, but you definitely can take away some stuff, I think. How often do you feel that you have an important dream? Do you feel like every dream you have is important, or do you just know some of them this was just maybe a chance to have fun or relax somewhere in the setting or something, or maybe that's something important too. But
I definitely think it's something important too. I'd probably say I have really important dreams maybe once or twice a month, and then in between it's just a bunch of filler. But not that filler is less important or anything. I feel like you should always be trying to find some type of meaning into it, because everybody can teach you something. I feel like your dreams could also teach you something if you really look into it and kind of apply it to your life. But I mean, I've had dreams where I've literally, the whole point of it felt was to just flow with it and have fun,
Maybe
and I feel that's essential.
Dreams meaning just let it happen.
Right.
So often, I mean.
Right.
Very much so. I found one thing I find weird, that people do have dreams of dying and stuff, but for me specifically, when I die in my dreams, I don't really die. The dream doesn't end there for me. People are man, when I die, it's over. The dream's gone. Or I wake up out of it or something. And for me, I kind of respawn. I will either have to do that part of the dream over again, or I'm get put into something else's conscious, or I gotta get my consciousness goes somewhere else until the next.
Swapping bodies or something that?
Yeah, and then it's an empty vessel or something that goes to, and then
you go to a different level or
different. Not necessarily a different level. It's okay, I gotta do it, or
playing different characters in the same scene.
Yeah.
In the same scene?
Yeah, and it's usually the same scene, and it's
See, I'm over here thinking it's a whole nother server. You know what I mean? A different land, everything. You know?
No, it's usually I go through it again, or but it kind of depends on the dream whether what I did before kind of still takes effect, or whether I have to do it all the way over again. Most of the time, I can see the results of what I've done in the past. I know it's literally like playing a video game. My dreams have very much run on video game logic, it seems to me. That's kind of weird.
It's a simulation.
Simulation. That's But then there's just some dreams that you have some dreams are just really weird. We wake up and we're just what the fuck? What was that? What the hell was that? And what could that possibly do to help me?
Last night I had a dream that I was getting a parachute not sewn, but sewn to my ass basically. It was like six strips, bro, going down, and they all connected, and it would be a parachute at the end.
The booty
I was like,
shoot. Damn. Oh man.
Did not make any sense.
It's like what could possibly, like, I don't know. So like, on one hand, it's easy to say that, like, oh, it's like this important place where you can play scenarios out, and it's like, oh, if so, then what the fuck is this? Then like, what do I need to? Why do I need to play this out? I've just recently been able to have plots in my dreams, and I realized that for me specifically, my dreams, I have better dreams if I sleep longer. Like, if I get up to like 9 to 10 hours of sleep, I wake up and remember my dreams a lot more often if I get less than 6 hours of sleep. Mm-hmm. If I get less than 6 hours of sleep, I almost never can recall my dream when I wake up. But the other night, I actually finally, I had this boat. It was a boat chase, and my boat could only had this one, and it was a horrible weapon. And I knew, I was like, this weapon sucks. And I was like, when I had to use it, it was a boat that shot other boats. I had to shoot like little mini empty boats at other boats to like kind of like cause holes to appear on the boat. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I got the boat that shoots the boats. You know, what does that mean? I don't know. Like, did I really need to do that? Like, was there something? Was the dream just meant to have an exhilarating boat chase, and then maybe I seen a boat that day or something, like, so I thought too much about it or something. Maybe it impacted my subconscious more than I thought it would, or that's the trick about the dreams. I don't think we really want the answer to it, because dreams are one of the only times we get and they like really just immerse ourselves in the wonder, like the wonder of just being alive. Because the experiences in dreams are just unparalleled to anything we could have just walking around, living a mundane life, awake. And I don't know what that means, but there was I was listening to Alan Watts a few days ago at work when I was in. He actually talked about dreams, and he talks about it as like every on needs its off, pretty much. It's a time for you to realize you have to eat to stay alive, but to eat also means you have to expel the waste. Like, there's a way and it's the same thing. Like, the dreams are equivalent, like sleeping is the equivalent to like expel you wake up and consume reality. Like, you observe the way it goes in to your experience, through your experience or whatnot. And so the dreams are the way it filters out. And he says it's very necessary for us to forget, because like the forgetting is part of being able to be excited about the other, like the new stuff. Because and if you were to forget a song, if you were to like listen to a good song for the first time, there's nothing like that first time, and it's like, oh my god, that song's so good. You play it, you listen to it more and more, but there's still nothing like that first time. If you could remember the song's name and like the fact that you listen to it, but not the lyrics and the words and the sound of it itself, then every time you listen to the song would be the first time. But in a way, it would lose meaning. The song every song would be like the same song almost at that point. I imagine, like, the feeling you get would be the same regardless of what song you listen to, because they're all a new song. Every song's a new song now. And so new songs would lose meaning if there's no old songs. That's the thing. Like, there has to be a back to the front. And so maybe that's just what the dreams are just our back to the front. That is reality, a waking life. And so we need a back to that. Every seam has it looks neat on the front, but if you turn it over on the back, there's this mess of strings, and you're like, it doesn't look so pretty. Sometimes we have dreams that don't look so pretty. Sometimes the boats shoot the other boats. And sometimes we just gotta have the parachute booties. It's just life expelling itself. It's just, so.
But I do feel like it's important to have some type of log to help understand like yourself and the bigger picture of things,
so,
and like
too.
Like what influences you and what causes you to have like nightmares. You know what I mean? Like having that to look back on helps you understand and kind of helps you make sense of like the big ball of yarn, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think so too. That's one thing I honestly don't do enough, and I really should. I recommend that. If you definitely learn a lot about yourself if you log your dreams. Like, you helps you remember your stuff, and the dream recall can lead to a lot of other like mindful moments in your life. Like, that you can take that into like oh, maybe this can relate. You can find things like relations from the logs that you have to your everyday life. You go, oh, this is what this was about. I get it. This was bothering me, and I didn't know it. And you may have never knew that unless you logged the dreams or had that experience. Remembered it. Because it's very strange to me, like how easy it is to forget dreams. Like, it's uncanny. It's so uncanny. Like, you wake up, like you were just in there. Oh, I feel like I was been in this dream for days. Like this dream took days, and you wake up to go pee, and you go back and you go, what the fuck was what was that? Like, wait a minute, I can't remember. Like I could have swore it was just so real. I could taste it. Like,
it's like Finn getting lost in the pillow fort. Like,
it's just gone. Like, how does it do that? Like what it like? If you could forget something that felt you were just convinced it was real. Even if you're not a semi-lucid dreamer every night, and even semi-lucid dreamers, I don't feel or like there's going to be some dreams you're not in control of.
I feel like it's impossible to be lucid in every one.
And so I'm going to take this into another friend of mine's dream that they told me about. But before I do that, I'm going to finish. But like, if you can lose the memory of that dream so bad, like you just can't get it back, like it's like clawing at a pile of dirt that just keeps filling up. You're like, it's down there, but you can never reach it. But what does that say about just reality as a whole? Like, how, like, you think about people with Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff, and that's like, it's really scary. Like, it's a really scary thing to not know what's real, to not be able to like, or to just forget something like, this whole thing that you were just convinced while you were sleeping that this was reality. And there's a friend of mine told me about her dream. She said that in the dream she was someone else and she wasn't aware of herself. She was in this dream. She was like somebody else. She thought she was somebody else, and when she woke up, she had to do a reality check. Like, look in the mirror. Like, what is that? Like, it's scary. Like, to think, like, if you really think about it, like, what's to stop you from waking up one day, or waking up as someone else one day and forgetting everything that you just experienced? I mean, who's to say that you're not in a dream right now? Who's to say that everything you do is not a dream? If you can convince yourself that it's so real in this pillow, you can taste it, you can see it, you can reach out and touch it and do all these things. And I'm sure most people have had like this dream where the false awakening, I think it's called false awakening, where like you are convinced you wake up from your dream, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I'm still in it. Like, I'm still, like, you're like, and you get caught in this loop of trying to wake up and you can't. Like, that is some of the scary.
For real.
It is scary, dog.
I haven't had it very often in my adult life, but as a kid, I used to have it so much, and that's like one of those scary. Like, that'll wait. That's a reality check for sure, right there. That's one of those like, what can I trust anymore? That's some Inception shit. Like, what can I trust? I guess whatever you want to trust. To be true, that's just kind of whatever. You're just taking someone. You're taking what you know's word for it. You're taking the color purple's word for it right now that it's shining in the room, and unless you wake up, you'll never know if it's true or not or whatnot, whatever. But I definitely still think that as silly as they can be, as fleeting as they hold something very important. Otherwise, they wouldn't be that nature. Like, the very nature of dreams are just like crazy.
Hold on, are you talking about it, like getting stuck in that loop, or are you talking about just them in general?
In general, the fact that they can do that, like all the things that they can do. And I had a poll in the group, and there was a few things. Most people, the top 3 most voted one was, number 1 was that people think their dreams are trying to tell them something, and that's, I think almost everyone could agree with that, and I think they do. Number 2 was most everyone had at least once in their life had a dream they had full control over, and that's lucid dreaming. And Man, I've had like 2 experiences, and one was definitely better than the other. But it's or like more, I had more control. But it's definitely that's a hell of an experience.
Can we go back and touch on like
absolutely
what you think that they try to tell people? Because there's a lot of like I've read about, you know, ancient cultures that literally believe that like what role you play in the community would come to you in dreams. So like I just kind of want to touch on like to what extent do you think it goes to? You know what I mean?
Maybe dreams can like are a way to help you find like quote unquote like your real self, like or something that like something
like our potentials,
the things that you really want to do or the things you're really good at to help you find yourself. Like, just in general, help you find yourself maybe. And I think that's a pretty good theory. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's definitely the case. I can say.
See, and then like, I like to talk about it with like other people because of, you know, I've had a dream before where I have to escape like a situation. I've had to literally like control my breathing in my dream and make it so fast that and in sync that I was able to shapeshift in the dream into a different animal. So like, I talk about these potentials, you know, because like obviously like, you know, I believe in like a collective consciousness, and I want to know if this is something that happens, you know, like if this is something that really could be like a thing in our DNA,
something
you
that's,
know?
something that's more than just because I think it definitely goes beyond like a day. Like you can have thoughts and think of things and right now while you're awake and stuff, but it's nothing like dreams. That's what I said. Like they can trick you into thinking like it's reality, and so like that's deep. That's deep. Like there's something that's really strange into like who's to say they're not? Who's to say that whatever? I always had a theory that dreams are like portals to just, or not necessarily, I don't want to say portals, but like when you go to sleep, you wake up and you're not the same person. I don't think you're the same person when you wake up. And
Never.
There could be many different ways to explain that, but the one I think maybe makes the most sense to me is that when you go to sleep, something happens and you maybe go to like the next closest reality, like you shift, because like I don't ask me why or how or what the reasoning would be. I don't know. There's no science. I don't have tools. I haven't looked into it. And if you look into it, you look into what science has learned about dreams, they don't know anything either. No one knows why we sleep, why we dream, what the need of it. Everyone just knows that we have to, otherwise we will become incredibly unhealthy and eventually die. But the dreams themselves are definitely something we have to do. Like,
right, how many people voted for that they didn't ever really dream?
there was one person who put a vote on there. I noticed it and it stuck out to me. They said that they either don't have dreams or they just don't remember them ever.
See, because I have dreams I don't remember.
Absolutely.
Frequently, especially when I get into a mundane routine. I don't find myself dreaming a lot.
Well, we all actually, apparently, according to what we know, we dream. Like, we have tons, like, whether you remember or not, we have.
Yeah,
like,
you're still dreaming
times.
whether you remember it. But,
Yeah.
I wonder if, if there's something that correlates and causes, you not remembering them.
So, I think that might go into what I was going to say was you shift into, the next closest reality to your own, or, the last one that you were in. Whatever your original one was, I think you go to somewhere closer, and you just wake up, and because I'm sure everyone has that 3 a.m. moment, or you stay up late and you have all these thoughts, and you're like, oh, I want to do this, or you have suddenly this boost of energy that I want to get my life together. I want to I have all this stuff I want to do now all of a sudden, but I was I gotta go to sleep, and it's really strange that we get this before we go to sleep, and if you fight sleep, it's detrimental to your health. It's it's pulling you to it. You have to do it, but
yeah, you'll literally die.
You go to sleep and you wake up and you don't want to do none of that no more. You have this completely different mood from yesterday. I can wake up and have a completely reversed view of life. I can wake up one day and want to save the world, and I have all this energy. I want to do my very best. I want to do all this, and then the next day I wake up, and it's like, I'll watch it all burn. I don't care about none of it. Like, don't talk to me. Please leave me alone. It's all suck. It's a drag. And what's the difference between that? Like, how do you wake up how do you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, as they say? And maybe it's just a dream you had. Maybe you something deeper when you went to sleep, because
I feel like it's a combination of a lot.
it's got to be a combination. Like, it's
like,
probably too intricate for us to
from what you ate to like what you did to like, you know, if you got to watch anything cool, you know what I mean? Like,
I doubt we have words for it. I doubt we have words to
It
explain.
could also, like, your dreams could also be something to do with your body's actual condition at the moment, because when you go to sleep, your body signals the brain that it's asleep. It sends off, you know, the melatonin and everything to relax it and whatnot, and then your brain waves slow down like considerably, like into, I think it's theta, and on that level, it releases chemicals to restore your body. So like, sleep is necessary for your body's repair, and maybe the chemicals that get released actually help stimulate the certain things that's going on in your mind as well while you're sleeping.
Absolutely. If you actually, your body does heal when you go into deep REM. Your body absolutely heals itself, and it's one of the only. If you don't reach deep REM within your night's rest, you actually didn't get any sleep, like any real sleep. And science will tell you that, like, you have not gained any like energy or rest from your sleep.
yeah, you can't catch back up on that shit either. Like, they've proven that you can't catch back up. See, even if you sleep more the next day, your body's like permanently missed out on it.
Say that could probably be a little something to do with the waking up on the wrong side of the bed thing as well, not getting enough energy back from, you know, the recovery process.
It's definitely strange. One of the strangest things I feel like in my dream are the reoccurring settings that I have. And by reoccurring settings, I mean there are places in my dreams that go as small as as a house to as big as an entire city, that like I'll end up from time to time, I'm like, oh, this is that place. And it's I've been there so often in these dreams that it's like immediate. It's like, oh, like, and it's very strange. Like, I don't. Those dreams usually I remember the most, because there's definitely, I feel like there's something behind them. The fact that I have these entire spaces that I can visit, and they're the same space. I know they're the same space. I've been here before. The dream me knows it.
Right.
It's something deeper than like the semi-lucid me.
Do you feel like the setting is anticipating you almost? Like, we've been waiting for you to come here.
Maybe. So it's very strange. I had a reoccurring dream. Not all my reoccurring settings are reoccurring dreams, because sometimes different things happen in those settings and often it's not a reoccurring. But when I was younger, I used to have a reoccurring dream, and this sometimes dreams are very simple in what they're trying to tell you, and this is the case.
Yeah,
but
straightforward.
I dropped out of high school at 16, and I'd always there was a part of me that kind of regretted it, because not because I wanted the grades and I wanted to be able to get into a good job, yada, fuck that. I missed out a little bit on the school experience, the teenage experience with like my peers, you know, meeting with, like, hanging out with other kids and doing all the fun teenager stuff. I missed I didn't go to prom. There was a lot of stuff I didn't do, and I missed out on that. And so I absolutely believe it went into this. I had this recurring dream for a long time, where I would go to school. I'd catch the bus, wake up in the morning, catch the bus, go to school, and I'd have whatever kind of event at school. It wasn't always the same event. That wasn't the reoccurring part. The reoccurring part was when the school day was over, I'd go to catch my bus, and something would always happen. My bus had left. I'd always missed the bus. And I would have that dream over and over again, and it finally stopped when I got my GED. And it was just, it's very easy to realize that was like my symbolization of like me not finishing school. Like, and it finally left me alone when I had conquered that part of my life or whatnot. And so sometimes you get easy ones. Sometimes that's not the butt parachute, and we get something that we can actually face and implement into ourselves. But I think it stems so much. A lot of us, we don't know. A lot of people don't even know what is the self. You know, like most people don't even know who they break down and have this like this horrible episode, and they're like, "Why am I like what's going on?" And they realize like I've been not living up to myself, and that's a deep thing. Like, what does that mean? That's why they're so like I don't even know. Like most people have not even began to understand who they are. And I think dreams can absolutely help us with that.
Oh yeah, dog. I mean, like, that's kind of like the dream I was telling you about the elephant hiding. I'm sorry, the hippo hiding in the tree trunk. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like I thought that was something that I probably wouldn't be able to interpret it, but seriously, like, you know, I like to look up the symbolisms, and animals are pretty fucking heavy in mine. Like in my dreams, like I have a lot of animal symbolism in my stuff, and when I had looked it up, it actually represented that I wasn't being free and just like graceful, you know. I was so worried about like fucking up or something, you know, and and it presents itself in many different ways, and it's just crazy to me because, you know, that's a universal, like I feel like the animal symbolism is a universal, like I could look that up on the internet, like it's a universal thing.
Yeah.
You know, language, it's a space beyond words, like
It's one of those, yeah. And I have every now and then I have dreams of animals myself. I actually kind of realize that there's often not animals in my dreams now that you say it. Like, that's strange for me. I often don't have a lot of animals. Or like when I do, they're usually like, I don't want to say gross, but they're not. I was gonna say grossly different from what they're exaggerated in some way. Like they look cooler or scarier, more menacing, or taller, bigger. They're different than what they usually like what a normal version of that animal would look like.
That makes me wonder then, because like, why? Like why?
I think that goes into the nature. I recently learned about myself that I like monsters a lot. Like more like I've realized that. When I think of like when I make characters in D&D, I don't make humans. I like to make some kind of when I choose a character in a fighting game, I like to choose the non. Like I've always picked the non-human thing in these, and I think it's because just I've always liked monsters. I always liked the. To me, being human is normal. So if I'm going to pretend to be something, I don't want to pretend to be human. But maybe it stems into something like that. Something that could stem into something deeper that I don't know about just yet or haven't visited just yet, but maybe that's what that is. So
it just varies by, you know, person to person. Because I don't have a lot of where I get caught in loops and stuff. Like,
I get loops a lot. I do get some loops.
what do you think about sleep paralysis? Dog.
Oh,
have you ever been stuck in sleep paralysis?
I don't sleep on my back, and that's usually how you get sleep paralysis. There's some people who have told me that they get sleep paralysis without that. The closest thing I get to sleep paralysis when I'm not sleeping is like when I'm sleeping on a desk or something. There's something about the way like the sleep's too light, and so that's when I get those false awakening moments where like I'll be sitting there. I'm like, oh, I'm in a dream version of myself. The other day, actually, I rested my head at work and I fell asleep. But I was like asleep, but not asleep. That's how I'm gonna call it. I guess I was sort of lucid, but it was that false awakening moment where in the dream, I reached out and touched my phone to like tell what time it was, and I'm like, wait, my phone's in my pocket. How did I reach out and touch it? I'm like, I'm asleep. And I'm like, but I feel like I'm not asleep. And I know I am. I know the real me's behind this veil. And he's sitting in the same chair that I'm in the dream. And it was this weird fucking moment, like, holy shit. But I was like, I can't wake up. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to, like, I didn't panic because I was like, I know this is what this is. But I'm just going to, it's sleep paralysis. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to wake up. And that's, a lot of people get like that and they panic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what causes the monsters that they see. Like, they have this pressure on their chest, and that's because you feel like you're being held down because your body is not letting you move. Yeah, you're not letting you move because you can hurt yourself if you try to react out your dreams.
Dog, the first time that it happened to me, I was like literally communicating with something in my head. I was possibly communicating with myself, but I literally in the dream thought it was a whole ass conversation with something else. Like,
yeah, I mean, what's the difference? You never know. You never know.
Never fucking know.
And that kind of stems into one of the other topics. There were quite a few people who were convinced that they talked with other people in their dreams. And I don't know for sure if I've ever done that. I can't say for sure, but I can say that there is sort of a difference between the people you meet in your dreams. So sometimes like you'll meet them and you go, okay, that's definitely not them. But there are sometimes you'll see them and you're like, I wonder if they had the similar experience. Like you kind of want to call like, but you can't do that because that's like this weird unspoken code like among humanity. Like you don't bother people about their dreams. Like, hey, did I show up in your dreams last night?
No, deadass though. I really think it's possible. Like, I seriously think it's possible.
There was a book that I had read not too long ago. It was like the complete guide for lucid dreaming or something like that. And there's actually I'm not going to say a corporation, an establishment that does studies on dreaming and stuff, and basically like they held this this little test pretty much. So they gathered a group of people and showed them 3 envelopes with a different picture on the inside of each one of them. Okay, they had to guess like pretty much which one it was, but the lady that had put the images in there took the images home, opened it up, and had intentionally sent out a message to the ones that seen the envelopes. Okay, and she asked them to be open to it, dream about it. This was like a highly concentrated study or whatever, and they ended up like I think it was like 3 out of 8 people ended up like painting the exact same scene that was on the photo inside the envelope as she sent it out because they were open to receiving it. They did it multiple times, and like people were actually able to do that. So I don't know the depth of how
that very much supports the united consciousness theory, which I definitely believe in. Due to my own experiences in life, I definitely do believe that we all share some kind of synchronicity in this shared space somewhere beyond our viewing or knowing of, or conscious knowing, that we are connected in some way. We are unified by this in some way, like this deeper. A lot of people there's quite a few people who know what I'm talking about probably already, or there's a name for it. I can't recall it at the moment, but I guess it's pretty much like a World Wide Web, except not the internet. It's like more of a spiritual thing.
Dog, I've had multiple dreams of my ancestors. And so, like, again, like, that plays into that. And the craziest part was I recently had one, and I was explaining it to my mom, okay? And, like, in my dream, I have not seen these, family members because they lived before me. But when I saw them in my dream, I knew that's my family. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew it. And I was telling this dream to my mom the other day, and in one of them, my grandpa was building like one of those small houses where you can like put it on a trailer and shit. He was building one of those for somebody, and I remember watching him do it, and I was telling my mom about the dream, and she told me that's really funny because your grandpa used to be a carpenter. And I had not known that. Like, I had not known that whatsoever. And I remember, like, speaking to them and stuff, and they know me. In my dream, they recognize me. And, they kind of know where I'm at with things and stuff. It's really weird. It's really different because, like, it makes me feel like they're alive. Their spirit is alive somewhere really close to me. You know what I mean?
My great grandmother, she raised me, and she told me there are 3 dreams she told me about that, like, I can't forget, like, they'll stick with me forever. And so they kind of that goes into like how pretty much she transcends time and space to still be. That's called the second death. Well, that's not important, but that a part of her lives with me with these dreams, and one of them, I feel like I've had a similar experience, and it's kind of the scariest one. She said that one, and I believe her. I definitely believe her. She wasn't the type who like make things up. She was a very humble woman. She said she had this dream where she was laying in her bed, and she said she was watching herself from outside of the dream, like she was looking down on herself, and she was, this figure she said to her looked like a man, came in her room, and he stood over her and he was like a black figure, and he just watched her, and he said all of a sudden he took his hand and he put it on her face, and she couldn't breathe, and so she tried to scream and shout and stuff like that, and she said she woke up to her people in her house were like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And then she said, like, they were like, your face is red. What's going on? And I think I had a similar dream once. It was one of these, like, I woke up the night before, like the next night, and it was like I couldn't remember a lot, but I do remember someone trying to like suffocate me, and I actually have sleep apnea. My father figure at the time, I fell asleep on the couch, and then I was living in the house, and I was just sleeping. I woke up, and he was like, "Are you okay, dude?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Do you know that you stop breathing for long periods of time in your sleep?" And I'm like, "No, no, I don't, absolutely not. Thanks for letting me know that." And so I think that's called sleep apnea. And so it's like, what I wonder if that could manifest in the dreams is that or something. But
yeah. Do you think does she have sleep apnea?
I don't know. I didn't know she had sleep apnea. Now she was probably like on the middle to late 50s when even I was a little kid.
Oh.
So like I don't even know they were how far into sleep apnea and studies and stuff they were back then. But she never told me that she had anything like that.
Do you think that like evil fucking spirits can come to you and shit? Because like that's what it reminded me of when you were telling me that. I was like, that was some evil, dog. Like
I definitely believe in forces beyond this world. Like there's just some things that can't be explained. There's definitely a deep connection we all have to spirit, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. If we can play like you don't, but religion wouldn't even exist if there wasn't some deep connection that humans had to something called spirit, whatever that means to you, however you want to explain it. And the nature of good and bad is something that I don't necessarily like to dwell upon much anymore in my life because it's all necessary parts of the whole. But definitely, absolutely, I do believe that there could be bad forces that could they manifest in certain ways. They can maybe manifest from events in your life, or maybe you manifest them yourself unknowingly because of events in your life. I don't know it could be all the above. Or
dog, and like my grandma used to practice witchcraft, okay? Mm-hmm. And hopefully she sees this one day too. Hi, Grandma. But fucking when my mom was younger, actually, dog, like she, would have she'd sleepwalk, and she saw like spiritual figures and shit. Like there was one night she told me where she walked outside and she saw like an Indian chief standing out in her yard, and it was like not a good like omen type thing. Mm-hmm. And
omens, that's a good word. A lot of dreams are omens.
And she also told me that around that same time, she would say a prayer before she went to bed every night, and she was kneeling by her bedside one day, and during this time that my grandma was practicing this stuff, she felt like really sharp long finger poke up in her ribs, and was like, and it said, pray to me, and like she literally would have like nightmares and shit all the time during this time of like different spirits and stuff.
I guarantee you there's a shaman in this world somewhere, or at least there used to be, if nothing else. I can call it, took them all the land, but there's definitely probably somebody in this world who has studied spirit and dreams deeply, or like even what they could possibly mean or whatnot, that could probably tell you exactly what that means, or like what,
So-
or even like name the figure in the dream itself. Because a lot of, like, if you go back to some of these, you research these older traditions and their dreams and their shamans and their religious practices and stuff they have, you can use them as metaphors for many things throughout life, like, and definitely omens. I think that's a good thing. That reminds me of another. I want to touch on another one of my great grandma's dreams she told me about. There was 3 total. I don't think I'll cover all of them today, but I'll leave one for the next dream video, because dreams are such a broad topic. I definitely want to cover this in
It
another
deserves
episode.
more than one video.
Absolutely. We will definitely revisit this, but
It deserves its own series, mini series.
this dream that she told me definitely seems like some kind of omen. And it freaked me out because she said this was a reoccurring dream of hers.
Aw.
But the dream was that she would wake up in the middle of the night and she'd go into the kitchen to get something to drink or to eat. And she'd look out the kitchen window and there'd be a Ferris wheel. Like, not a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round, sorry. A carousel. And it's, you know how they have the animals on the, as the little, the soy said, they had that. There were all the little different animals, but all the animals had faces of kids.
What the
And
fuck?
they would turn and look at her, and the music would just play, and I'm just like, that. It sticks with me. I'm like, it's terrifying. It's absolutely, that's a nightmare, and it's a way different kind of nightmare than being chased by something or being shot or something in the dream or zombies or something. That's some that's some hereditary shit. Like, like, what is that? Like, I don't know. It's an omen. It seems very omenish. Like, what could that mean? I don't know. Do you want to know? That's the thing. Do you want to know what that could possibly mean?
Sounds scary enough, dog.
Scary, terrifying. It sticks with me. And I didn't have the dream, but I can remember. I can picture it perfectly. And it's like, whoa. I hope I don't have to have. Hopefully, I don't have to bring that shit to my subconscious world. No, thank you. I've had enough fucked up dreams of my own. One dream, I wouldn't call it a recurring setting, but I've had it more than once. A lot of people dream of apocalyptic scenarios.
Yes.
Not a lot of people, but a few people did.
Yes.
A lot of people I've talked to personally dream of the world ending in some way. I've had a few of this kind, and it was the world being flooded.
Yes.
And inside the water are these awful creatures, like prehistoric, like shit. And fuck that. I hate it. Fuck the ocean.
Yeah, a lot of those dreams too. Nothing to do with it.
I hope. I don't know. I always say I'd love to be alive when the world ends, because I don't want to watch humans destroy the world. But like, if it ends naturally, I bet it would be beautiful. And I'd like to see the beauty of it. And that may be like edgy or like dark to you guys, but fuck you guys.
Emo. Seedy weedy.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. But I don't want it to be flooded. I don't want to see that. You can go ahead and take me before the world floods. I'm good. I'm good on that. The squid people can't take me, man. They can't take me. They ain't taking me wet anyway. You can take me dry. You ain't taking me in the water. Fuck that. God. I hope it's not going to be a flood. That's crazy.
It makes sense that it would be a flood, though.
I mean, that's what they say. God destroyed it the first time.
However, though, zombies are likely.
People don't understand. I have had many zombie dreams. A lot of people have had zombie dreams. A lot of people have zombie dreams. Ask your friends if they've had zombie dreams.
I bet they have.
I bet they have. Ask your friends. But people, you gotta understand that all it has to be for zombies to happen is for rabies to get a little bit stronger. Because rabies is already very much a zombie virus. If you think about what it does to the animals. You have movies Cujo and Old Yeller and stuff. It takes this once nice creature and it turns it into this vicious, angry thing that foams at the mouth and can't control itself, lashes out and bites. And when it bites you, it spreads this disease to rabies. All rabies has to do is go, all right, let's tone this shit up and cause some destruction. And then you have zombies. Everyone walking around rabid. Biting each other. Bacon.
Bacon.
No, thank you. And I'm going to get out of dreams a little bit here, but you should be very terrified of this because our government and probably all governments experiment with this stuff. If you think they don't, you're a fool, because There was this account that I read. I can't remember the exact name of it, but they did this test on a small town with mosquitoes. The plan was to see if they could weaponize mosquitoes as biological weapon. Literally, see if they could put something inside the mosquitoes so the mosquitoes will give it to people. And so they dropped a mosquito bomb on this small town in the USA. I can't remember the town. I should have did research on this before I talked about it. But it's absolutely true. Look it up. Look up the American government test mosquito bomb on the U.S. city. The results of that were so scary they shut the project down. They were like, we absolutely cannot control this. If we were to put something in the mosquitoes and drop it as a weapon anywhere on the planet, it would cause whatever they were carrying to spread over the world. And so you should be absolutely terrified of something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. You think dreams are crazy? Reality is happening right now, and what they say is very much truth is stranger than fiction. Absolutely, 100%. Guarantee it.
But why do you think we have zombies?
Zombie dreams. I think this
like
stems into...
I know it's possible and stuff, but...
I think this stems into man's fear of sickness and of each other, and like the spread of germs and disease and stuff like that. I think that translates into something like that, because I know the first time I watched it wasn't too long. It was like last year. Me and CJ actually got together and we watched John Carpenter's The Thing, the old one, and very fucking terrifying movie. Absolutely good. Good effects, old timey, and it goes to show like the novelty of things. But after I watched that movie, I had several nights in a row I had the dream of having to outrun the Thing. And if you don't know what the Thing is, it's this alien life form that can assimilate you. It can touch you, and if it touches you, it's done. It actually will like meld into your skin, take you over, and become a perfect clone. It knows your memories, the way you act. It can replicate you completely.
All your mannerisms.
And its main objective is to try to isolate someone else and spread to them, do the same thing. And so I had the dreams of trying to outrun this thing. And I know what this was a simulation dream. This is absolutely a simulation dream where my mind didn't ever consider a fact that there could be something that could spread. As soon as it touches you, you're contaminated.
Mm-hmm, like The Happening.
And so like I try to run these protocols. What would you do? And unfortunately, you don't. You're in a situation like that. I did not get away from this thing, not once in the dreams. And I stopped dreaming about it. Thank God, because they haunted me for a minute. But like, it's a terror, and I think it stems from like the fear of man, like man afraid of itself, the fear of sickness, and I mean, in the times of the COVID, even now, I think it's more relevant. Like people are scared of other people. You got to think. It kind of shocks me because we didn't have this, but the swine flu, the SARS, the Ebola, the malaria, we had all these others, and then all of a sudden the COVID came and it was oh snap, it's scary now. Now we're going to take things serious. It's like, wait, this many of you didn't wash your hands and stuff before this? Like, okay, all right, but whatever. That's not the point here. But absolutely, I think that's what the zombies might stem from. I think a lot of times to understand some dreams we have to search for metaphors or symbolism, like to try to take it into symbolic meanings. I think that's where the truth lies in some of them, especially the more crazy ones. Maybe we just have to twist that. Maybe you never know. Maybe the parachute booty dream is like the most important dream you've ever had.
That
you
meant
just gotta,
everything to me. What are you talking
yeah.
about?
Maybe that was the most important dream you ever had. You just aren't sure how to
understand it.
Put it into a metaphor yet, or something. I don't know. I was going to think of something, but I'm done with it. I'm not done thinking of your booty parachute.
I'm out there,
it's like maybe you feel like your ass ain't secure or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Sewing that bitch on, bruh.
Maybe you feel like your booty's gonna save you or something. I don't know.
Damn, bro, that's so fucked up, bro.
But Donkey Kong. I gotta watch the movie came out today, dog. I gotta watch that.
Bruh.
Oh, that's a dream come true right there. Absolutely. That's I grew up with that stuff. I cannot wait to see what they've done with it this time. It's good for me to hear that they actually performed well because it was Godzilla is one of those things that's not very popular. Like it's not like in the wide scheme of things. Most people know the name, but I guess recently with the Godzilla vs Kong, it blew up now more than ever, which I'm happy for. Because I love Godzilla and I want more people to experience him and for him to be able to stick around longer in my life and stuff. So that's cool. A dream come true. It's funny that we use that word dream a lot about things like that. It makes me think of George Carlin and one of his famous things he said about the American dream. Because that's the funny thing about a dream. You got to be asleep to get it. I was like, yeah. That's
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'd be asleep to get it, so I thought that was deep. So otherworldly beings and dreams.
Bruh,
So
otherworldly.
I couldn't necessarily circle. I don't think I voted on that one because
I've had like one encounter, but I'll never fucking forget it. Like,
so I think I have, but though they weren't in a plot dream that I can like. It wasn't in a dream that I can put into words, because it goes into more of the one thing I did put the otherworldly symbolism, like it wasn't a dream that was like I can tell you about, because it was more like I was sitting there and experiences were happening to me, and I was supposed to like it felt. This is very metaphorically speaking. It's the only way I can describe it. But it felt like I was sitting in a classroom being tested. But don't try not to take that literally. But it was almost like I was being graded on something. Or like they were tossing me concepts and wanting to know where I stood on them. And even then that feels wrong to say it because it's like words. It's be a space beyond words. And that's what dreams very much are.
Who was doing this? What type of?
I know they were there.
They were just figures?
They felt very teacher-like. Oh. That's why I say they felt very much like they were trying to portray something to me. They were trying to make me get something.
Do you ever feel like you have dreams that like test you on something? I know you said don't take this literally.
No, often.
But like, do you think that was one of them? Because I don't know. I feel like I get tested on shit in my dreams often.
Because that's what the thing dreams I had about the thing that I definitely knew that was a test. Like it was trying to make me mentally prepared, like trying to strategize me running from this thing. You can't. I failed every time. But this was, I'd say yes, but in a different way than that. More like something deeper, definitely deeper than words, deeper than like judgment that you would think of like in a religious way. It wasn't like I was being judged, just more like they were sizing me up. And when I say I didn't necessarily see them, but I can explain the feeling was like someone standing behind a bright light. Like if someone shining this bright light in your face and like you know they're behind it, they're talking to you behind the light. And you can't like look at them, but you know they're behind that. Like that was what they were like for me in the dream.
That's what they were like for me and mine. That was the very first ever lucid dream I had ever.
It was very strange and like.
That's weird because mine was kind of like, well, I don't know. I've had one where it was like fucking aliens. And it was dead ass like there was a blue light behind them and like 3 aliens came up and were literally peering down on me and staring at me. And I remember like consciously looking at them and they had this inverted pyramid necklaces on.
In mine it was 3 as well. How many was it in yours? How many was it in yours, dog?
I don't know, but they did talk in like they didn't talk. There was no words. This was all, they spoke in like telepathic symbolism.
Vibration type of a...
Like telepathic symbolism. That's the only way I can explain how they talk to me. Telepathic symbolism. And they made it clear, they spoke in a we, never as a, like, I can't tell you how many were there though. That part's
That's
fuzzy
weird.
for me.
See, I remember mine was like telepathic as well, but like I just know that they were literally like analyzing me.
Yes,
Like
analyze.
full fucking, like they just had to look at me and they knew
It
everything.
didn't seem alien to me. I didn't feel like I was being like an alien abduction or like there was a bunch of aliens in the room. Or nothing. Like I would say, I was just more like, I felt like a kid being tested. Like I felt like, oh, like this is important. I want to get my answers right, type thing. But it wasn't necessarily like I was answering questions. More like they were tossing me symbolic things, and I was supposed to put it into a symbolic meaning for myself. And they would go,
They just wanted to see what you're about,
I
almost
guess
like
if I, to put it in a metaphor, it's like how psychiatrists do the test,
the ink blobs.
the not the Cronenberg or the it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember, but it's the word for the test. But the yes, where you see the they're like, what does this look like? And you're like, it's a butterfly. Or what is this like? It's a man. And like that, but with these symbolic meanings, they were tossing them to me. And it's like they were testing how poetic I was, or how I could twist that and to make it into something symbolic. And
Dog,
I had that a lot after my trip for sure. That was my dreams for a long time, and I couldn't wait to get back to like the plot. I couldn't wait to get back to shooting boat missiles. I couldn't wait for that. I was like, yo, I'm done. This is beyond me, fellas.
I've had tons of dreams where I've been like tested in and stuff. Like I remember one that was like an obstacle course. It was like an above a pool. It was above a body of water type thing, obstacle course, and like I was competing against a shit ton of other people, and it was like literally like I would have been first, but the only reason why I wasn't first was because like the last bit you had to slide. So you were in this fucking room that was above the pool, okay, and it was really high up, and there was this one spot on the like where the fucking floor meets the wall. And you literally had to slide under there, and you had to be all the way fucking laying down, or else you wouldn't fit. Okay, you had to slide off that and into the fucking water. Like I hesitated because I was like, "This is scary." But there's been times that I've had that have been like that, like whether it's getting away from fucking figures I don't recognize or fucking obstacle course shits. Like I don't know why. Like
man, that makes me think. The slide into the wall made me think of this. A dream I had one time, and it stuck with me because it was one of the more vivid dreams I had, like where I could, and I think I was lucid. I don't know if I was fully lucid, but I was very close to it. And pretty much I had the power to breathe underwater, and I was in this pool, and I was walking along the bottom of the pool, and it seemed like the dream went on forever. But when I go to explain it, it's like, it's had to happen within a few seconds, right? But like, I was at the bottom of the pool, looking up at the light shining through the thing, and I was just walking around the bottom of like enjoying what it felt like to be weightless and to like not have to breathe, like worry about like drowning in the water, and it was like this really strange feeling, and it was absolutely, it was so realistic. Like the colors, the feel, like it was one of those dreams I could just feel, smell, touch, taste, all of it, and it was just whoa. What does it mean? What does that mean? I don't know. So again, so dreams are such a broad topic that we could talk about this for such a long time. We're going to do multiple episodes of this. This is Dreams Part 1, and so we're going to wrap this episode up here today. You know, I've been your host or whoever you want to call me. I've been J-Dog. I've been Jalen here, sitting here talking about dreams with Jasmine. And so thank you for talking about dreams with me.
anytime, I look forward to the next parts.
Absolutely.
Trying to understand this topic a little more.
Try to get into what they could possibly mean, maybe help someone out. I'd love to hear from you guys more about your dreams and your topics. Don't forget to reach out to me if you want to be on the podcast. There's many of you I'd love to talk to. Many of you have already reached out to me. I've reached out to you. And don't worry, we'll get you on here soon. But thanks for watching.